Welcome back to Ironheart, and before I say anything about this Frankenstein monster of a show, let me tell you something about myself. I have a very healthy approach to things I don't like, which apply not only to people, shows, food, but anything that causes me displeasure. Whenever I dislike something, I just leave. I stay the hell away from whatever makes me feel a little off. I fell off about my home country, and now look at me dancing with man-killing spiders. Ironheart is a show I grew to hate, because at first, as well as many others before me, I thought, oh fuck, this is just another lazy race swap from woke writers who instead of adapting actual original black superheroes chose to make this shit, capitalizing on the name of a previously established, beloved character. Which is true, but after seeing the actual show, which was dumped on us like bad news in just 2 weeks and forgotten in less than one, there's so much more in it that makes it so brain dead and so stupid that actually surprised me how anyone saw this and said, yep, this looks good to me. I would be fine if it came from a barely known or newish production company like whatever, but it's fucking Marvel. Disney Marvel, sure, but come on, it's 2025. They fire all the weirdos and wokies, allegedly. They've made good shit after years of flop after flop after flop. How hard it is to look at each other and say, hey, we should cut our losses with this one. Because like I said in the previous video, this is not only boring, racist, and straight up disrespectful to all comic book fans, to all blacks, queers, and British people, and I'll get to that last one in a minute, it's also extremely fucking stupid. My name is Nacho, welcome back to the channel, and it is with great displeasure that I'm making this video, cause ironically, on top of not wanting to be involved with things I don't like, I am also incredibly OCD and can't leave things unfinished. So let's jump back into the most racist, dumb show about a black female genius. Previously, in Ironheart, we covered in detail how criminally retarded Riri Williams is despite being presented constantly to us as a genius. After complaining how much more resources and money she needs to finish her already super advanced suit, which very gently, almost like a breeze, nudges her into a life of crime, which she fully embraces despite having so many better options to go for, she ends up creating the most technically advanced piece of AI in history. To give you a quick lesson, there are 4 types of AI. Reactive AI, which were early machines that acted the same way when given the same impulse. The greatest example of this was an IBM chess AI able to beat Russian chess grandmasters. Then you got limited memory AI, which creates a response depending on the data and experience it collects over time. We are here. Think of ChatGPT, Grok, and social media algorithms. After this comes theory of mind AI, which is a machine that understands human emotions, intentions, and social cues, adapting dynamically and creating a response suitable to them. Although this technology is still very theoretical, this type of machine will have the capacity to understand and remember emotions and adjust behaviors based on those emotions, just as humans can in social interactions. Think Detroit Become Human and iRobot before shit hits the fan. After this, shit hits the fan and we have self-aware AI. These machines are not only aware of the emotions and mental states of others, but also their own. When self-aware AI is inevitably achieved, we won't have an AI that has human-level consciousness, equal human emotional intelligence with similar needs, desires, and emotions, but without the downsides of humans. No aging, no fatigue or hunger. This is Bicentennial Man in the best of cases, and Skynet or the Matrix in the worst. This is Cyberpunk 2077 delivering levels of technology that could end humanity if it were to fall in the wrong hands. This is safe to say, way deep in the realms of theoretical science borderlining science fiction. Natalie is a self-aware AI that not only acts like deceased Natalie, looks like deceased Natalie, it is deceased Natalie, crafted into existence by scanning Riri's brain, her memories of her dead friend. But instead of being the perception of Natalie from Riri's perspective, which it's what any rational viewer watching this show would think, She is an exact replica of the former real person, her memories and recollections, as if someone scanned Natalie's brain before some fucker bust her a cap in her ass and made her into an AI. And the mad genius Riri Williams created her, not with a mountain of vibranium and $1,000,000,000,000 she constantly claims she needs, but with her laptop in downtown Chicago and a bunch of scrap.
With a bunch of scraps!
The greatest sin they commit is downplaying this, as if it was just another thing accomplished in this boring ass show. Later on we'll see Natalie being suspicious, being scared, feeling sad, as well as cracking multiple lines of code to escape her own encrypted location, inserting herself in other devices, which allows her to have a chat with Riri's mom, who as always takes it super well seeing her daughter's former alive friend in a fucking screen talking back at her. And let's not forget, Natalie easily pulling out the whole directory of black market dealers as well as their addresses at the request of Riri. The creators of the show, this is nothing special, and it's the equivalent of the Hood holding his breath for a really long time. This is the point in the script where I would stop typing and boot up Kingdom Come Deliverance, shooting dice for imaginary money for the rest of the night. But if I were to do that, this video would be never finished. Let's kick back in. Riri wakes up after creating the most unique AI in humanity's history. Her mom starts calling and she freaks out, hurling her suit back into her room. The funny thing is, she could have just said to Natalie to stop projecting herself until they got into the room, but nah, she wheels the suit and asks the AI she just created, what is she? Natalie of course is aware that she's an AI, yet tries to convince Riri she is her dead friend. Both equally confusing statements, not only to Riri, but to anyone watching this.
Okay, you could call me neuro-autonomous technical assistant and laboratory intelligence entity instead, but Natalie just kind of rolls off the tongue a little better.
I love how she struggles to say that. Also, that's a self-appointed acronym, given that Riri is now fully hands-off in the developing of this entity dressed up like a backup dancer in an Alicia Keys music video. Dude. Represent. Riri, already over the idea of her bestie magically coming back to life as an AI, hints on deleting her and starting over, to which Natalie, in all her self-awareness, says this.
Race you, start over, and hopefully forget this weird glitch ever happened.
Whoa, who you calling a glitch?
Nigga!
We're trimming a lot of fat in what I can already tell is gonna be my longest video ever made. In the Italian pizzeria these idiots call a lair, we get introduced to the criminal masterminds of diverse queer code. Starting with Slug, who, as you'd expect from a show like this, was subjected to some created liberties from the uncreative liberals in the writer's room. He is one of the most wanted hackers in blah blah blah. He's a huge black dude with ridiculously flashy clothes and way too much eyeliner, and yet, to my surprise, he's not even the worst thing in this show. Then you got the Blood Lesbians, totally an accidental name, star athletes banned from every sport. How? Do these chicks, to any of you, look like they could do synchronized swimming?
Damn!
I don't think so.
Anyways, they were found making money fighting each other in back alleys. Whatever, wouldn't it make more sense if they fought other people for money? Doesn't matter. One of them apparently is trans, I'll let you guess which. They are also not that bad. No, because you see, the most idiotic member in this league of extraordinary weirdos is this little goblin, actually named Clown, a boom specialist that displays levels of acting I can only describe as gut-wrenching. But before we get there, there's also Felipe, a one-man does all who's also Italian, who specializes in knife wielding, or as he calls it,
highly skilled in the art of scherma de stiletto siciliano.
Hi, I'm John. My parents didn't say I love you, so now I play with knives.
That was actually funny.
it was not. Where did she pull the translation from? What does she know about having a dad? After discussing the plans for the first job to take over a tunnel infrastructure, don't worry, the whole thing is pretty stupid so it doesn't matter. Remember when I mentioned that Clown is the worst in this shed?
I got just the thing. Strong enough to blow through thick layers of concrete without causing any damage below. My little SBD. Silent, but deadly.
What the fuck? But hey, that's not all.
I saw Parker shirtless. Fine as hell. Open up a school for kids as a money laundering front for my black market explosive.
Everyone in position by 8 sharp tonight.
After showing that the suit will clearly not be ready by 8 to 9 sharp, which considering that the meeting was at 11, it's probably a few hours from now, Riri leads Natalie home and carries the suit all by herself in a loaned wheelie cart in the tube to Whiteville, where she meets Han Solo, the most Disney Marvel white guy ever to be out in film. Damn, Solo did lose money. Who just so happens to be the black market parts dealer Riri was looking for. After introducing herself, she tries to rob him. What's impressive about all of this is that Han lets Riri threaten him with the iron suit she doesn't have on, that currently doesn't work. She is roughly half his size, and yet her blackness is enough to have him do whatever she wants. So he agrees to drive her to his secret bunker, and after some red hot cringe...
Are you crying?
Sorry, sometimes it just happens. It's totally involved.
Is this because you got blackmailed?
No, I can handle blackmail. I get blackmailed like twice a day.
Huge, steaming pile of cock. Yeah.
You know, I actually like that song. They ruined it for me. The fucks? Inside Han Solo's bunker, equipped with an arsenal of high-tech weaponry, we learn some lore. Han's dad used to be an engineer. Well, actually his dad was Obadiah Stane, the Ironmonger, the OG Iron Man bad guy, whose remains now rest in a Ziploc bag in the kitchen counter. This is Baby Stane, and Marvel's way to continue a great villain's legacy. After a quick rant of actual beneficial uses of the technology he's hoarding, like medical implants and enhancements, which Riri calls sus, aha, slay girl, you tell that white devil what it's what? He asks, why make an iron suit then? And her reply, cause I could. Now, you see, Riri doesn't have a reason to make this suit.
My suits would shorten the response time of first responders, firefighters, search and rescue teams, etc.
As she said in episode 1, that was grade A horse shit. To the question, why you making an iron suit? Her response, cause I could, is what her drive-by stepfather would say to the question, why you work so hard on this car? Cause I could.
There's literally no benefit to you building an entirely new engine from scratch when you could just swap it.
I know.
Okay, then why'd you do it?
Because I could have.
The thing that makes it funny is that the writers creating the show don't know how to apply their own logic. This phrase is basically the concept of don't show the gun unless you shoot it before the movie ends. The problem comes with the use of I could, which in the case of Riri is used in the wrong way. As an obvious prerogative. I'm smart and capable enough to make the suit, so I will. I don't need to explain shit to you, it's how she makes it sound every time she says it. In the stepfather's case, God only knows where the real one is or if he will ever come back with the milk, saying cause I could comes after Riri questions him on why he rebuilt an entire engine instead of adding some easy mambo jumbo to make it sound more powerful. He says cause I could, like words of gratitude. He could easily fix it, but instead chooses to work hard in something he loves, and that's satisfying in its own way. This applied to a muscle car project makes sense. Now that's the message we are ideally sending, thought the writers, but the fact that Riri is not building a simple custom Roadrunner, but one of the most sophisticated potential war machines in the universe, coupled with Dominic Slay Queen acting, cause I could, just adds to how fucking superior Riri Williams presents herself to anyone who dares questioning her motives. By the way, have we mentioned that she's a genius? Meanwhile, back in the apartment, Natalie's having a heart-to-heart with Riri's mom. The implications of why this is a bad idea, considering she's fucking dead, are not really being considered, but by some act of brick tech magic foreshadowing. She's basically back in full form, memories and all, talking from a screen of an iPad as if her becoming maggot feed was nothing but a small setback. Back again with Han and Riri, a very important issue is brought up. You see, the origin of the Iron Man suit, and the Ironmonger suit for that matter, was Tony's necessity to prevent the shrapnel embedded on his chest to reach his heart. So he made the art reactor to fuel the magnet that prevented that from happening. This source of power later developed in what we know as Iron Man. But Riri's suit, despite its incredible independence and extreme functionality, doesn't have one.
How is that possible?
Call it a mishap, call it a suspension of disbelief, but it's very convenient how the most important part of an Iron Man suit is missing, and yet that small detail doesn't affect Riri's capabilities in the slightest. They actually address this later on, because how can she power the suit if she doesn't have, effectively, a nuclear power plant in the very center of it? Solar and wind turbines. And later on, even I am struggling to grasp this, a car's 12-volt battery. Fair enough, we'll talk about that soon enough, but at this point, I feel insulted by this show. They're taking a piss on me and calling it rain. The suit runs on solar panels that magically appear from inside of it. She installed those, somehow, in the limited time she got, and we get to see them deployed at night. There is no sunlight at night. Chicago is not even that windy. She can't power up that suit to full functionality because some greenhead asshole in the liberal fucktard echo chamber in charge of the show has a sticker that reads "Nuclear Bad" next to the one that reads "Ban Capitalism" in the back of their $2,000 MacBook Pro that they used to write this retarded script. Fuck this show, man. Let's just finish the episode. On the heist that was meant to hurt the greedy corporate overlords that are destroying our communities, according to the black chicks, the bruisers storm the control room, beating to a pulp honest blue-collar workers who also get knives thrown at them while Riri flies in her suit. After some shenanigans that we don't need to get into, Natalie shows up unexpectedly after breaking her encryption, which causes Riri to lose the drive with the virus. Now the question that arises is, if Natalie was back in the house, how was Riri able to fly the suit all the way down to the tunnels?
Don't ask questions.
After some improvisation, they managed to get the CEO to sign a pointless contract that effectively puts them in the payroll, giving them control of the company, yada yada yada, which as the violent criminals they now are, having a paper trail leading back to you is not exactly a 200 IQ foolproof evil plan. But we're not expecting any of these Muppets to be Ozymandias, so sure. After leaving the tunnel, Natalie and Riri have a black-ass moment when they are stopped by an armed guard. It is in this moment where Natalie, the super advanced AI, glitches,
Who you calling a glitch?
denying Riri control of her suit that she was operating flawlessly up until this point. The idea of this is to portray Natalie being afraid of guns, since guns were the cause of her demise. However, as a super intelligent, immaterial entity that was born from the memories of Riri, why is she afraid of anything? She is a digital being. Had the guard not be confined by the rules of plot armor, literally, and not have Parker show up, bending bullets around the suit to shoot the guy?
Look, I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's not like that.
I'm being shot!
We're not hurting anybody. Riri could have easily eaten a bullet, making Natalie responsible for her death. Riri's greatest creation. Back in the Goon Cave, Riri starts asking the right questions regarding the hood when Parker calls them in to say this.
This might be the prettiest group of washed-up criminals I ever saw.
You're crazy, man.
That line was written by a white woman with blue hair. To close up on the episode, Riri gets back to her mom's apartment where she tells her she met Natalie and mentioned how amazing it is she was able to bring back all of her soul, mannerisms, smiles, etc., which should have been possible and was done entirely by chance, but she asked, can you make one of Gary, the stepdad, which we'll learn later was key in the development of Riri as a child genius. Her real dad, sadly, lost forever in the search of the fabled cigarettes. Now, she could try. It's the least she could do, I mean, she has the know-how. And yet, unfortunately, for everyone, particularly Gary, no attempts will ever be made to bring him back to life, not even when the chance to actually do it arises. So, rip the homie. We're now closing on probably 20 minutes of video, and we're not even halfway into the show. My sanity is walking a fine line over the canyon of becoming a COD streamer or redecorating my ceiling Cobain style. Self-flagellation is becoming a very attractive subject, but before we get there, Episode 3 opens returning Riri to her appropriate heroic persona, acting selflessly in the help of those in need. Who am I kidding? She's making it rain with a bunch of criminals. After a group share of whatever, we're never gonna see or remember these characters ever again, Clown sneaks into Parker's office and puts on the hood. Some smart dialogue is inserted here to tell the strange nature of the hood when Tony appears out of nowhere and slams Clown's face against the desk. Thank you. After which Riri squares up to Stefano with all of her 4'11". Stab her right now! Parker appears to break them up. The next target on the list is a biotechnology company who, in the words of Slug, is developing technology to preserve antique seeds, to which lesbian number 1 says that they are driving farmers out of business. First of all, if it's being farmed today, I doubt it can be considered an antique seed. But let's say that they are. Seeds are not crops, yet farmers buy seeds to plant crops. If anything, preserving seeds would boost farmers' economy. Having a bioengineered seed that is impervious to floods, droughts, or pests, it's a really good thing. Genetic manipulation of food sources, if done ethically, would prove beneficial for a world verging on overpopulation. If anything, the people putting farmers out of business are governments with increasing farm taxes, reduced grants, which results in decreased in popular consumption of farmers' markets and fresh produce due to the increased cost of said produce given by the raise of cost of production, or something like that. My information comes from watching Clarkson's Farm. Baby. But this is a bit too much brain usage for this show, so let's just bring it back to CEO plus corporation equals bad. Bottom line of the plan is they can't use any metal inside of the facility, which we'll later see is a bullshit plot device.
Why does a bunch of good-looking people look so pitiful?
Probably because your boy slammed my head into a table and still hasn't apologized yet.
To be fair to Ezio, that little black goblin was the one messing with their boss's shit. The other dude was killed for less.
What about these heists? We Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos?
Girl, you're the irrelevant 7. Ocean's 8 at best. You are Reservoir Dogs if the reservoir was a toilet and the dogs were shih tzus. Bitch.
I'm only doing this because I have to. Not because I'm a bad person.
You're joking, right?
Right. Cue the Mr. Sandman montage. After trying to justify she's a good person, she's not. Parker gives her a response she doesn't particularly like, judging by how much her face started twitching.
Come on, girl. And I mean that completely colloquially, not at all pejoratively.
Jesus fucking Christ. What black person speaks like that? Have the writers ever been to Chicago?
Why is there a sweaty middle-aged white man at my door?
Sweaty middle-aged man? Ma'am, you're probably younger than him and have a 20-year-old daughter. Shut the fuck up. Also, that's racist.
How do you two know each other?
She tracked him down through an illegal black market registry, blackmailed him, tried to rob him, effectively did, and she even gave him a pep talk, telling him to be a man and stand the fuck up for himself.
Well, Riri and I,
met at work.
Haha, my bad. They met at work. In her room, Natalie demands that Riri gives her attention before agreeing to work on the suit. This behavior shouldn't be possible for an AI. We'll just direct your attention on how Natalie spends all night updating the suit without apparently needing to charge itself. Unless she took herself out during the day, which I doubt, Riri kept her suit in her room at all times. Yet, she will not struggle for any power anytime soon. A couple of police showed up finally to take Riri into custody. Oh, never mind. They're here cause Eric Andre got murdered, meaning that if Riri doesn't do her job, she'll be next. So she devises a plan to analyze the hood to see what she's dealing with. Let's just say, despite her being a genius, did I mention that she's a genius? This doesn't go as well as she thinks. Basically, the new stealing from Techno Gardener requires the loser sevens to not bring anything made of metal, which in the case of an iron suit is a bit of a problem for Riri, so she borrows Joe's biomesh skin prototype to sneak a laser cutter into the facility unbeknownst to the rest of the gang. This is where we learn the further connections that this show has to the MCU, like the fact that Joe here is the son of Obadiah Stane, the awesome villain from the OG Iron Man, portrayed brilliantly by Jeff Bridges, now reduced to a bag of ashes inside a tin can in the pantry. Ezekiel Zeke Stane is one of the most notorious enemies of Iron Man in the comics, who is a genius that specializes in biotechnology, adapting the tech from the Iron Man suit into his own physiology, notoriously modifying his body to operate with less energy and using the surplus as rejector beams he shoots from his fingers as an example. Truly, a foe to be reckoned with.
Are you crying?
sorry, sometimes it just happens.
Anyways, after this revelation and a very touchy heart-to-heart about not having dads anymore, Joe trusts Riri with his tech, that apparently has his name written all over it. Pretty fucking stupid, considering this is black market shit, but hey, it lines up with the show's IQ, asking her to be careful not to do something stupid that would land him in jail. She will go ahead and do something stupid that would land him in jail. Now, into the heist, everyone drops their metal while Riri keeps a little something something hidden under her sleeve, and they have to show it because the audience is too thick to understand it even after the last 10 minutes of exposition. We kill the lights and knock out some guards. Crazy how that's not enough to trigger an alarm. While Nat is operating the suit, Riri swims under the facility. Wait. She can do that? Inside the lab, there are screens that show foreign object detectors that allow Riri to know where she needs to be more stealthy. Since this plot convenience is so present, it might as well be featured in the credits, we're going to ignore it. The Hood negotiates with the tech billionaire who actually writes him a check to fuck off, while Riri tries to laser bits of the Hood off, and as she usually does, fails miserably at it. Given that the tech bro is no bitch, Hood gives the order to burn the entire place down. However, because Riri tripped the alarm system that Slug forgot to override, you dumb huge bitch, everyone is now trapped in sealed rooms while the CO2 levels rise. Tech bro gets his neck snapped. Now, remember that this is a superhero show, so we can't show our backstabbing murder accomplice criminal lone on her word protagonist doing the wrong thing, so she orders the suit to save everyone else while she handles her own escape. Aww, isn't she great? She comes out of a vent at the same time Francesco opens the door. You can't make this shit up. Now, Tony here starts asking the right questions, like why aren't you in your suit, where's Parker, and why do you have a piece of his hood on you? The correct follow-up to this is to punch her square in that big ass nose of her and snap her neck like a twig. You are twice her size and she's out of her suit. However, that's not what he does. Instead, he starts throwing her around like a bag. He has knives he can accurately throw at moving objects. He doesn't throw one of those at her once. The fucking idiot. Nat shows up, takes Riri out, while Pepe is left to suffocate alone. #deserved. Riri flies back to her place only to realize not only that she killed the dude, but that she also lost the biomesh with Han Solo's name all over it. The one thing she was asked not to do. So she begins to have a panic attack.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
I can't! And that was episode 3. Now, I would continue this self-imposed self-flagellation, but as you can see, I got some of that to deal with in real life. So that's gonna have to be for today, and you're gonna have to wait for part 3 of this review. I'm honestly learning to hate this show the more I watch it. In the meantime, streams might resume in due time, and more content to come, so if you watch this, find the videos, let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite running gag of this series. And as always, I've been at you, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.